Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. This video I'm going to follow up on the one that I did the other day about the irons that we use here at the school. And I will just recap quickly to show you household iron, right? And the household iron that we use has a water reservoir to create steam, and I was explaining that we don't use the steam feature for couture for the reason that it after a while using the steam feature creates buildup in these holes where the steam is expressed and minerals collect, and then they're also deposited on the fabric, which is a terrible thing to happen because it stains terribly, and we don't fill the reservoir. So if we accidentally press, this is where the water stream comes up, and it also damages water. And I did mention too that we don't use the steam feature generally speaking. We do use steam in our pressing practices. Now, talking about pressing is a whole discipline almost in its own. We pay just as much attention to pressing as we do to the actual sewing, and is part of the process. However, I did mention to create the steam, we have the iron, then we have the pressing cloth, then the fabric that we are pressing on the surface that we're actually pressing. So the pressing that we do, we use three different actions. There's pressure, there's weight, there's heat that's created from the iron itself, and the steam. Now the level of steam that we create using pressing cloths we can control much better than actually using the steam feature on the iron, and it's much more effective. It's like 100% more effective than the steam from the iron. The other factor that we need to take into consideration is that every climate that we live in has a natural humidity level, and they're all different. So where we live here in Calgary, the climate is dry most of the time, and you can't get a beautiful pressed seam in a very dry climate with just heat alone. Other climates where it's a little bit more humid, you have more success. However, to prepare a seam that you've just sewn or whatever you've just done, we need to create steam, and we use that with the aid of pressing cloths. And they're just squares of fabric. There you can see squares of fabric. These are the ones we use more often. They are 100% cotton. They're not cotton blends with polyester. They're no other fiber. Now, one question you might have is, can I use linen? Linen holds water naturally more than cotton does. It just has natural properties that will hold water more than cotton. So you're going to have slightly different effect. So using cotton exclusively, it's predictable how much steam we can create. So what we do is we take our pressing cloths and we dip them in clean water and we wring them out. And if you wring it out a little or a lot, it makes a big difference, because the water that it retains creates the amount of steam that we need. So you can see what I mean. There's more to this than just dampening a pressing cloth. The other reason that we use a pressing cloth that may be damp or dry is so that we can protect the surface of the fabric that we are pressing. Our intention is to get a nice flat seam and to set the stitching, but the pressing cloth also protects the fabric that we are working on from the actual plate of the iron. So the other type of press cloth that we use is made out of silk. So this is 100% silk, organza. So you can use organdy as well, but the reason that we use silk, or this translucent silk, is because we can see through it. It does protect the fabric. So we use pressing cloths in conjunction with our irons We use silk, pressing cloth, organza, and cotton. Now, you might wonder, where do we find these pressing cloths? Well, they might be closer than you think. What we use is old cotton bed sheets. They are there. They're at hand. There are bed sheets that are no longer useful as bed sheets, and we don't throw anything away. But they must be 100% cotton bed sheets. So, I mean, you might think, okay, I'm going to run out and get a cotton bed sheet. Yes, that would work too, and you can make several pressing cloths. But remember, those bed sheets need to be washed, need to be laundered several times to get the sizing out of it. So these are many, many years old, and they begin to look a little tattered after a while, but they serve our purpose. Okay, so that is pressing cloths for you. There will be more videos available to show you how and when we use them. Thanks for joining. See you again.